We are the Battle Axes of the Most High come to you on the Monday class to edify the Lord's name. Name of the class today is called Preparing for Purim and Destruction of Nicanor. I know some camps don't partake in the Purim and destruction of Nicanor, but us as Battle Axes, we celebrate those things, man. Those accomplishments and the things that our ancestors and forefathers did. Um, and looking at all the great things that they did. So how they how they in, with their captivities, and they say remember 9/11, remember this, remember that, but we remember what our forefathers done too, and our foremothers done, right? Going into getting prepared for destruction of Nicanor and Purim. First precept is the chapter 44 and verse 1. Let us now praise famous men and our fathers that begat us. The Lord had wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning. So he said the Lord had wrought great work by his power from our forefathers and our foremothers from the beginning. Right? Shalom, shalom, brother Ma. So we see that these great works that our forefathers and our foremothers did, that's Feast of Purim should put like a spirit of fighting for the kingdom and the sisters, should put the spirit of fighting for our legacy and for our heritage, for the brothers, right? Right? Verse 3. Such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men of renown from their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecy. Leaders of the people by their counsel and by their knowledge of learning met for the people, and wise and eloquent in their instructions, because our forefathers were wise and eloquent. You just think about a lot of people will call Mordecai, and this is to today's society. They'll be looking at him as a menace, or a person that didn't want to follow rules. But no, it wasn't that he didn't want to follow rules. He followed the Most High God, and by him following the Most High God, gave him the power to say he wasn't going to put up with certain things, concerning in captivity, right? They wanted Mordecai to bow down. Mordecai wasn't going to bow down like all the rest of them, right? And just think about how we are just working on these day-to-day on these jobs. A lot of our jobs want us to bow down too, right? Even though these jobs whoop us, we still don't bow down to these jobs, right? And just what Mordecai was, he wasn't going to bow down to um, wasn't going to bow down to the people, to Haman wicked, but right. So that's the reason why we make sure that we keep ourselves, in this captivity, not to bow down to these people, because that's what our forefathers did too, right? Verse 5, and such is found musical tunes and recite verses and recited verses in writing, rich men furnished with abilities and living peaceably in inhabitation. This goes into Solomon, right? And all these were honored in their generation and were the glory of their times. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praise might be reported. So that's the reason why I said they that be. It says, verse. This is the point. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praise might be reported. So as we go looking at how the Feast of Purim is coming in, and how uh, we see that how it's coming in. Shalaki. We see how holy days coming in. Just like Passover is right around the corner, right? It's Passover being right around the corner. Guess what? It's gonna be more of our forefathers, in such as Moses, and see how Aaron and how the Lord blessed and guided our people, in the midst of captivity, man. And this is why we celebrate this is why we celebrate Feast of Purim. It's why we do new moons. It's why we do Sabbath days. It's why we do what we do, because all of these right here is relevant for this truth, right? Uh, uh, you got to think about when how our people, how Esther was and how Mordecai was. Esther wasn't, she was a sister that was ready to stand up for her nation, right? But she had also had good guidance from her uncle, which was Mordecai, because her mother and father had passed. So my uncle Mordecai has raised her, but he raised her, giving her the understanding of putting her nation first. And these are the things that we can look back on to help us build up in this truth and help us to grow in this truth, right? Coming up out of the book of the rest of Esther's, out of the Apocrypha, it said, and then Mordecai said, God had done these, for I remember a dream which I had saw concerning these matters, and nothing thereof had failed. A little fountain became a river, and there was light in the sun, and there, much water. This river is Esther, whom the king married and made queen. So it's giving you the understanding. He said he had a dream, but in this dream, he said it was a little fountain became a river, just like how Esther she was a young she was a young a beautiful woman, right? And he said it became a river, right? And there was a little light in the sun and much water. And this river is Esther, whom the king married, because he found after after I'm just kind of giving you the overview of when you go in the book of Esther and you read about the Purim, right? Just giving you an overview on what was going on, right? So uh it was, I think, King Artaxerxes. He uh King Artaxerxes, he had a wife. She wasn't trying to listen to anything, so he got rid of that wife. He ended up seeing Esther, seeing how beautiful she was, and he took her to wife, right? And through him taking her to wife came help to bring some salvation to our nation, because of uh wicked Haman wanted to try to kill our nation of people, right? He wanted His Edomite wanted to try to he wanted to try to kill our nation of people. But the Lord sent a beautiful woman, and he sent a man like Mordecai that give us good direction on how to help and put our nation first, and it helped got us into the point that we can be able to, our people was able to succeed while we was in captivity, right? Shalom. Uh, Verse number 7. And the two dragons are I and Amen. And the nations were those that were assembled to destroy the name of the Jews. And my nation is this Israel, which cried to the God, to Yahweh, and were saved from, for the Lord had saved his people, and the Lord had delivered us from all those evil. And Yahweh had wrought signs and great wonders, which had not been done among the Gentiles. Therefore, he had made two lots, one for the people of God and another for all the Gentiles. So And then even the Lord back then had put a separation in between the Gentile and Israel, right? Uh, Verse 11, and these two lots came at the hour and time and all the day of judgment before God and all among all the nations. So God remembered his people and justified his inheritance. Therefore, those days shall be unto them in the month of Adar, in the 14th day and the 15th day of the same month, with assembly and joy and gladness before God, according to the generation forever among his people. And this is why we celebrate the feast of Purim, right? Because of like the Lord said, he said, therefore those days shall be unto them in the month of Adar, the 14th day and the 15th day of the same month, with the assembly and the joy with gladness before Yahweh, according to the generations forever among his people. And this is why we celebrate those things, man. We want to make sure that we do a joyful noise for the Lord, right? Seeing that how our people uh ready to stand up for our God, but we also as we standing up for our God, we also want to make sure that we stand up and fight the good fight for our Lord, right? Uh, Watch this. The book of Second Maccabees, chapter 15. It's not gonna be a long class. I just wanted to kind of touch on it. I don't, man. I'm tell you something. Uh, I catch hold of this. I catch hold of this. I catch hold of these things. Uh, Especially I'm at work right now. Shoot, but I catch hold of it a little bit better. I'll be able to do more though. Lord willing. Uh, y'all just yeah, man. Man. I've been fighting this cold for a little second. It'll be okay though. Okay, now this goes into the destruction of Nicanor. I'm just touching on it though. Uh, the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 15, gonna start at verse 30. And Judas, who was ever the chief defender of the city, both in body and in mind, who continued in his love towards the countrymen in all his life, commanded strike off Nicanor's head and his hand and his shoulder to bring Jerusalem. So when he was there, he had called them of his nation to all together set the priests before the altar and sent for them that were of the tower and shewed the veil of Nicanor's head in the hands of the blasphemer proud with proud brags he had stretched out against the holy temple of the Almighty. So Judas was he wanted that he wanted Nicanor head because he stretched forth his hand saying what he's gonna do to our nation of people. This is why we celebrate these things, man, because we know that how our forefathers got down and how they wanted to make sure they celebrated, and not just celebrate, but to stand up for our nation, right? And this is what we lack. This is what we lack in the growth of our nation, because there's a lot of people that don't want to stand up for our nation. The Maccabean brothers understood that. Paul understood that. The disciples understood that. Christ understood that. Esther understood that. Mordecai understood that. All our forefathers and foremothers, they understood that they had to stand up for our nation. And it's something that the Lord gonna have to put this spirit back on us for us to get back to try to fight for our nation again. You know. But we know sometimes our people we have a hard time doing it because of how this world have been treating us. So the same person that the Lord looks at, and when he looks at him and he see a mighty man, but we look at that same person in a human eyes, in the human fleshly carnal eyes, we look at that person as another nigga. All right. But verse 33, and when he had cut off out the tongue of the ungodly Nicanor, he commanded that he should give it by pieces unto the fowls and hang up the reward of this madness before the temple. So every man prays towards the heaven and the glorious God, glorious Lord, saying, "Blessed be he that kept his own place and undefiled." And he hanged Nicanor's head upon the tower in the in evident and manifest sign unto all the help of the Lord. And they ordained all the coming decree in no case to let that day pass without Solomonity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month, which is uh, in the Syrian tongue called the Adar. So it lets you know we are in the 12th month, in the month of Adar, right? It says on the 13th day, so like on the 13th day of the 12th month, which is in the Syrian tongue called Adar, the day before Mordecai's day. Now, what is the day before Mordecai's day? The Purim. So the destruction of Nicanor was a day before the Purim. So there's a 3-day feast. It's destruction of Nicanor and 2 days for the Purim, right? That's why I call it the Mordecai's day. Verse 36 again. And they ordained all with a common decree in no case to let the day pass without solemnity, but to celebrate the 13th day of the 12th month, which is in the Syrian tongue called the Adar, the day before Mordecai's day, right? I just want to kind of get on here, like you say, just to get brothers and sisters, man, just kind of think about and uh, just reference on why we keep the Purim and keep brothers and sisters, man. Like you say, if you celebrate Christmas, you'll see so many Christmas movies and Christmas stuff playing everywhere, this and that. But when we come to our holy days, we don't celebrate and have those. So all brothers should be having class after class for the Purim and Purim until we make it to Purim. We should have class after class for for um for Passover until we make it to Passover. So brothers and sisters can get back in that spirit, man, that fight spirit for our nation again, man. And with that, we're gonna give our honor and praise to the Most High and the Son, Yahweh Shah. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. Y'all share the video. Help us push the truth around the four corners of the earth. Give you something, a little bit of something to ride in. Ride to work. So brothers and sisters can kind of listen to it and get this spirit on them, man. Hopefully, Lord willing, man. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in, man. Thank you, brothers and sisters, that been giving to the Cash App and GoFundMe. Y'all know this money gonna be used to keep the building going, to keep things growing in our nation, and hopefully we can come to a city near you. And with that, we say shalom. Shalom, brother Lamar.